The throne isn't empty, no, but something about it feels, well, unfinished. A child sits where kings once ruled like gods, too young, not yet formed, not yet tested, and around him, Egypt begins to adjust. Not loudly, not violently, quietly, like a system recalibrating itself. In the temples of Thebes, priests refine their language. Generals observe more than they act. Officials stop speaking with certainty, because one question now defines everything. Who will stabilize Egypt? And then there is her, Hatshepsut. Not outside power, not approaching it, already inside it. Royal blood, queen, God's wife of Amun. And already moving, not to take control, but as if control must settle somewhere. And in ancient Egypt, that is how power truly begins, not with permission, but with alignment. This is not just the story of a queen who ruled Egypt. This is the story of what happens when a system, deeply rooted in tradition, reveals how flexible it already is, and how power doesn't always break structures. Sometimes it works through them, until it becomes the structure itself. Thebes. 18th dynasty. The Nile moves as it always has, steady, indifferent, eternal. It does not react to kings. But inside the palace, something has shifted. Thutmose II is dead. Not dramatically, not ceremonially, just gone. And in Egypt, absence is not neutral. Because Pharaoh is not just a ruler. He is the living point where divine order, Ma'at, meets the world. Without him, the system does not collapse. But it loosens. Subtly. Decisions slow. Voices soften. Certainty becomes conditional. And into that space steps a child. Thutmose III, not helpless, not irrelevant, but not yet ready to carry the system alone. He holds the title, but the structure around him is still forming. And Egypt does what stable systems always do in uncertainty. It redistributes function, carefully, gradually, without declaration. And at the center of this transition stands Hatshepsut. Not an outsider, not an interruption, a royal daughter, a queen, a central figure already embedded within power. And more importantly, someone who understands that instability is not loud when it begins. It is quiet and must be managed early. She does not rush. She does not claim. She stabilizes. Because in Egypt, the one who stabilizes uncertainty shapes what power becomes next. At first, everything follows expectation. She becomes regent, not ruler, but guardian of continuity. The system remains intact, but Egyptian power has never been purely mechanical. It rests on alignment, priests, army, and belief. Not separate forces, but reinforcing ones. The priesthood does not choose rulers. It recognizes divine order, and that recognition gives structure to authority. Hatshepsut understands this precisely, so she does not push against tradition. She operates within it. She reinforces temples, participates in rituals, appears consistently in sacred spaces. Not as someone seeking elevation, but as someone already aligned with Ma'at. And slowly, perception shifts. Not through decree, through repetition, through presence, through consistency. She is no longer just regent, she becomes necessary. And the army, watching carefully, responds not to lineage, but to stability, and she provides it. Inside a palace, however, complexity remains, because continuity does not eliminate tension. Some officials remain oriented toward the future, toward Thutmose III. Others adjust to the present, not through opposition, but through waiting. And Thutmose III himself is not passive. He observes. He learns. He develops within the system that surrounds him. He is present, and his presence matters. Because power delayed is not power removed. Hatshepsut understands this, so her approach evolves. Gradually, deliberately. Her titles expand. Her ceremonial role deepens. Then her representation changes. Not as disguise, but as transformation. The beard, the regalia, the posture of kingship. These are not attempts to hide identity. They are expressions of it, redefined. Because in Egypt, kingship is not biological. It is symbolic. And symbols are not decoration. They are functional. They make authority visible. And once something is consistently represented as real, it becomes accepted as real. But acceptance is not immediate. It is built. And during that process, tension does not disappear. It stabilizes. The decisive shift does not come through force. It comes through narrative. At Deir el-Bahari, her story is carved into stone, not as argument, but as reality. A divine birth narrative, Amun as origin, legitimacy placed before politics, before debate, before resistance. This is not persuasion. It is alignment made permanent. And then comes proof. The expedition to Punt returns. Not conquest, not expansion. Prestige, trade, connection. Ships return filled with incense, myrrh trees, gold, rare goods. Not just wealth, but validation. Egypt is not weakened. It is functioning, driving. And then, monuments. Obelisks at Karnak rise into the sky. Precision, scale, permanence. When sunlight strikes them, they do not suggest authority. They confirm it. And at that point, something becomes clear. Hatshepsut is not replacing the system. She is operating it, completely. Her reign continues without rupture. No collapse. No internal war. Instead, construction, administration, continuity. Egypt remains stable. But stability does not remove future trajectories. Thutmose III continues to grow, train, develop, position himself within the same system, not removed, not suppressed, but integrated into what comes next. And then Hatshepsut is gone. No spectacle, no immediate upheaval, just transition. And with transition, the system adjusts again. What happens after her death is not emotional, it is structural. Over time, elements of her reign are revised, not erased instantly, not violently, but selectively. Her images are altered, her names removed from certain monuments. Not destruction, but correction, a realignment of dynastic narrative. But Egypt's system has a limitation. Stone endures. Her temple at Deir el-Bahari remains. Her obelisks still stand at Karnak. Her image, her authority, her legitimacy cannot be fully removed. And so her legacy exists in dual form, recognized in function, adjusted in memory. Not because she broke the system, but because she revealed how adaptable it already was. She did not force Egypt to change. She showed how to work within it completely. And in doing so, she leaves behind 3 lessons that still apply. Strategy can replace confrontation when securing power. Stability must come before expansion or ambition. And perception, when managed correctly, is not illusion. It is power. Because leadership is not always about changing systems. Sometimes it is about understanding them so well that you can become their natural outcome. She is not breaking the system, she is mastering it. If this story moved you, there are more like it on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.